To be honest, by now, I just assume that a lot of people either don't want to make money or don't want to get really rich. But BlackRock is happy about that. Sounds crazy, right? But that's probably because most people missed my recent videos. At some point, a lot of people missed the moment when it became clear. What the hell is actually happening right now? We're talking about what BlackRock is doing right now, what Michael Saylor is doing, and what many others are doing as well. And me, I can't hold people's hands and basically lead them to the Bitcoin well. The news we receive every day is just very, very strange. And you know, I'm a bit upset right now. First of all, Bitcoin should have long been over $500,000 per coin. Secondly, the extent to which Bitcoin is being bought is honestly starting to scare and worry me because it just doesn't stop. No matter what day it is, the news just never stops. And in case you missed my last videos, they were about companies suddenly wanting to pump $100 million into crypto. Or the blockchain group from France that's now buying up massive amounts of Bitcoin just like MicroStrategy. Capital 21. Don't get me started, otherwise it'll just blow everything out of proportion. And Metaplanet has almost 10,000 Bitcoin, while MicroStrategy acts like they're not buying anything and then suddenly invests $500 million in Bitcoin on a random Wednesday. People really need to start waking up. What we're witnessing here is absolutely insane. It clearly shows us that the old system is over. Do you remember when I said in December 2024 or January 2025 that the US could suddenly announce, we're now buying 20, 30, $80 billion worth of Bitcoin instead of parking the money somewhere else? And that's exactly where all the money is flowing. Nations, mega corporations like BlackRock, they're all heading towards owning 1 million Bitcoin. And that's absolutely insane. And if you still don't get it, well, then you've just missed out. And this is no joke. And a few weeks ago, when we were talking about other companies, I kept emphasizing that something very strange is happening in the background right now. First of all, the news is coming in daily, and what's incredible is a healthcare provider called Kindly MD or something like that is merging with Nakamoto Holdings to build a Bitcoin treasury. According to the announcement, Nakamoto Holdings wants to create the first global network of companies that hold Bitcoin as a treasury asset, together with Bitcoin Inc. They say that traditional financial markets and Bitcoin native markets are merging, and the securitization of Bitcoin will redraw the global economic order. They believe that in the future, every balance sheet, whether private or public, will include Bitcoin. And we have to ask ourselves, what's really behind this merger? A small part of it is the treasury strategy. This company wants to accumulate hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin. The plan? To build an ecosystem of Bitcoin native companies that hold only Bitcoin. Media companies, consulting firms, financial service providers, all with the sole aim of massively accelerating Bitcoin adoption. The merged company wants to accumulate Bitcoin and increase its BPS. So what does BPS mean? We've talked about this several times before. It means Bitcoin per share. A few weeks ago, Capital 21 announced something similar. And do you understand what's happening here right now? This is the hyper-corporatization of the entire ecosystem. They don't care about you or me. They only care about themselves. They will buy up and absorb all the remaining Bitcoin from the crypto exchanges. That's why you also need to learn how to build your own crypto financial freedom through Bitcoin, or how you can do it. Click the link in the description below the video. Watch the video. And a month ago, the news came out, the amount of Bitcoin on crypto exchanges is at its lowest since November 2018. And this is already the 5th or 6th company in the last 2 weeks that is planning something like this. When Capital 21 announced their launch, I said, starting in August or September, things will really take off. And now here we are, 4 or 5 more companies are following suit. MicroStrategy has just made another big move. Michael Saylor said just last week, people have no choice. Either you buy Bitcoin or you get left behind. And Samson Moe said the same thing. Companies are buying up everything. Adam Back warned in an interview, ordinary people should buy Bitcoin now because corporations, companies, even the US government are trying to grab everything for themselves. Do you understand what's happening right now? They want it all, and if you don't wake up, there will be nothing left. Michael Saylor said the following. By January 2035, 99% of all Bitcoins will have already been mined. After that, there will hardly be any new ones. And the chance to be part of this digital gold rush is fading more and more. And Michael Saylor explains that Bitcoin is not just an asset. It is the most valuable digital asset in the world. Property, network, and defense system all at once.
By January 2035, when 99% of the Bitcoin has been mined, because after that there won't be any Bitcoin left for you. We're in a digital gold rush. Bitcoin is an asset, but it's not just an asset. It's the most valuable asset in the world. It's property, and it's not just any property, it's the most valuable property in the world. It's a network, and it's not just any network. It's the most valuable network in the world. It's a defense system, and it's not just any defense system. It's the most valuable defense system in the world. We bought 80% of the United States for $40 million. It was a good deal. Superpowers are defined by literally power, naval power, land power, air power, nuclear power. The British proved that. The Romans had to beat the Carthaginians and prove that. John D. Rockefeller gave the United States the majority of all the chemical power in the world. That's why we won those wars. The 21st century is digital. Bitcoin is digital. It's a digital asset, digital property, a digital network. It's a digital shield. It's a digital defense system. There's only one of them. Only one country can control it. There's only room for one superpower. You either control the Atlantic and the Pacific or somebody else does. The reason the Romans had to destroy the Carthaginians was because only one nation could control the Mediterranean. And Bitcoin represents this most powerful emerging digital phenomenon. The country has an economic challenge. We have to pay off our debt, but there are smart ways and stupid ways to do it. We can either pay off the debt through austerity, and nobody wants that, or we can be visionary. I think we'd rather pay off the debt by being visionary. I've met a lot of the big tech moguls in Silicon Valley. They're not smarter than you. They don't work harder than you. They're just richer than you. And the reason they're richer than you is because of insane leverage. It's because they have a lever that's 1 billion times greater, whatever. When they do an hour of work, they get 1 billion hours of output. The guy with the machine gun, he's not tougher than you. He's just got a machine gun, right? When you own the Air Force or the whatever, the nuclear bomb, you're not smarter, you're not better, you're just more powerful. MicroStrategy was worth $600 million 4 years ago. The enterprise value is $100 billion today. I'm not working harder, right? I'm not better. We just found leverage, right? You want to make 100 times your money. You don't do it by... There's a famous line from Robert Heinlein. He says, you don't win wars by dying for your country. You win wars by making the other person die for their country. Okay? And so in this particular case, Bitcoin is here. It's a viral, exploding digital energy network covering the world. It's spreading like wildfire. It's unstoppable. At this point, your choice is you can ignore it and let someone else benefit from it, and you can hope that your enemy doesn't control it, or you can dance with it a little bit and flirt with it, and maybe you make a little bit of money and you get a little bit of power, or you can embrace it. And if you recall what they said about John D. Rockefeller is he was bullish on oil at the bottom, bullish on oil at the top, bullish on oil in the middle. He was always the buyer. He was never the seller. When the entire rest of the world thought oil was crazy, it was too volatile, it wasn't profitable, he believed that the future of the nation, the future of Standard Oil, was petroleum. And because of that dogged determination, the United States was the energy leader when World War I came along. We were the energy leaders when World War II came along. That's why we're speaking English right now, because we embrace the idea of power. Nuclear power, electrical power, chemical power, air power, naval power. The 21st century is going to be defined by digital power. Bitcoin miners are spitting out digital power by the exahash. We should own the network. And Bitcoin is digital energy. Only one nation can own the majority of it or the great plurality of it. It's either going to be us or it's going to be our enemy.
Michael Saylor compares Bitcoin to historical shifts in power, such as the Romans' conquest of the seas or Rockefeller's control over oil. According to Michael Saylor, whoever possesses this key resource of an era dominates the world. And in the 21st century, it's all about digital power. Bitcoin is that power. A network that functions like a shield and grows without borders. And for Saylor, it's clear, there is no alternative. 99% of computing power, trust, and political acceptance lie with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the digital oil. Whoever owns it controls the future, and the US now stands at a crossroads. Either they take the lead, which we have seen and are still seeing, or, according to Michael Saylor, they will be overtaken by countries like China. That means time is running out for you, and I'm sorry if I sound so urgent, but do you even understand what's happening right now? It's only been 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And just yesterday, another company announced that it is building a crypto reserve of $100 million. MicroStrategy is buying billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin every week. They want to own 1 million Bitcoin by the end of the year, and the supply of Bitcoin on exchanges is at its lowest point in 7 years. And another company just announced that their sole purpose is to massively promote Bitcoin adoption together with a media company. And you think they're the last ones. And at this pace, it gives me chills to think about what else might happen by the end of this month. At least 3 or 4 more companies will announce the same thing. And do you remember when I said in another video that the US would never own 1 million Bitcoin? Some people thought I was exaggerating or being too pessimistic, but don't you get it? If only the US were buying, they'd have years to do it. But these companies, they're not waiting. They're not waiting for the US to buy 1 million Bitcoin. They're also raising hundreds of millions of dollars even before the US has bought, just for Bitcoin. They don't care about the US, about taxpayers, about you or me. They have billions behind them and are buying up everything they can. And in case you missed it, about 10 days ago, MicroStrategy announced that they want to raise $21 billion this year and next year just for Bitcoin. And do you know how insane a billion is? With 5 million, you'd never have to work again? A billion is absolutely absurd, and they're going for 21. And by the way, they've already announced plans for 2027. Do you understand now why all of this is so crazy? The world is changing now, not tomorrow. And if you hesitate, there will be nothing left. And do you know why MicroStrategy wants to raise $84 billion in the future? $84 billion just to buy more Bitcoin, nothing else. They don't want to raise the money for the company, for infrastructure, only for Bitcoin. Because since they started doing this, their stock price has gone up 3,000%. And that's absolutely insane, guys. Back in the day, we used to freak out if a company just talked about offering Bitcoin payments and the price might go up 5%. Now, Samson Moe and Adam Back are talking about $500,000 per Bitcoin. But honestly, all of this made sense even before companies like BlackRock, MicroStrategy, and many others got involved, right? So, how much longer is this going to go on before everyone realizes what's actually happening here? This is what we're witnessing right now, hyper-Bitcoinization, live and in color. The rich are becoming super rich simply because they're hoarding Bitcoin and buying more Bitcoin. And you? Every day, new companies and now 14 countries are buying Bitcoin, every single day. So really ask yourself, do you have enough Bitcoin? If the price were to say quintuple right now, would you be satisfied? And if in 2033 it's at $3.4 million, will you look back at 2025 and think, if only I hadn't slept through it when all the warning signs were there? And this is no joke. This is escalating completely right now. So if you want to build financial freedom for yourself now through Bitcoin and crypto, click the link in the description below the video. There isn't much time left.